Hello everyone, I hope that everything is going well on your side. Today we are going to talk about how imagination is important in our life. Imagination intervenes in our entire existence. It influences everything we do. When we think, when we try to create, and to elaborate theories, dreams, in any profession form, is the key for innovation. So think for a moment and reflect on how you could use your imagination more effectively. We need to believe in fantasy. Fantasizing allows you to explore the past and to imagine the future. Furthermore, it plays an important role in our mental health. Now, can you imagine a world without imagination? A place where dragons do not exist, where grandparents give no stories about their lives, or where parents tell no tales? A world without the Little Prince, or even Harry Potter? Imagination is linked to our childhood, our entire life, and we definitely don't want to live in such a pale world without it, a lifeless world.
First, let me say most parents are well-intentioned and well-meaning and generally do the best they can. Some may have experienced emotional neglect themselves as children and therefore may not have a lot to give emotionally. Authoritarian parents want their children to follow the rules and have little time or inclination for listening to child's feelings and needs. As adult children raised by inauthoritative parents may either rebel against authority or perhaps become submissive. Let us imagine together Mr. Gradgrin's childhood that made him a person who didn't care about passion and love. Raised somewhere, cruel person isn't born, it is made. Maybe Mr. Gradgrin had authoritarian parents. They loved their boy, but they believed that strict rules are important to make Gradgrin become well-behaved and fit into the society. They weren't just the education enough to his future. So Mr. Gradgrin learned that suppressing his emotion and follow his duties is the way to get through the day. To get love of his parents and to about make them absent, he became obedient. However, Mr. Gradgrin was never allowed to decide for himself or follow his intrinsic interests as an adult. He doesn't know what he really wants. He been living a life that seems perfect to his parents and society, but leaves him unhappy on inside. Such a type of parents apply the same method of education they have received from their old parents to their children, thinking it is right for grandparents to raise their children this way. But it is a grave mistake, so Mr. Gradgrin has generated his parents' behaviors.
Therefore, Mr. Gradgrin, that strict and rigid character who lives in Cocktown, which was a gloomy and dark city covered by the black smoke of factories and chimneys, wants his students to be a copy of him, rigid and strict, living a gray life without the colors of imagination. Probably wants to reflect his experience as a child on his students, as he thinks that facts are the only wanted things in life. Mr. Gradgrin subconsciously wants his students to behave as if they were robots. He doesn't want them to think out of the box. Instead, he expects them to speak of facts only. However, Louisa Gradgrin, the daughter of Mr. Gradgrin, had an inner conflict because of her father. She had to obey him and speak of facts only, but deep down inside her, she wasn't convinced about her father's methods, as she had an urge to see the world through her own perspective, not through her father's. Generally speaking, Gradgrin's methods of teaching will always fail as long as there are kids who are against the machinery system, such as Sissy Ju and Louisa Gradgrin. In brief, human beings are naturally inclined to imagination and creativity in order to produce and create. Not necessarily everything has to be logical to be correct, as all inventions and discoveries started as an illogical concept for some people and ended up to be a great discovery or invention.
Imagination is more important than knowledge. When we say that we want freedom, what is really meant by freedom is the freedom of thinking and imagining. It's a whole other world. It's amazing that we were born with such ability, because our society is like a box only our imagination can free us from. It's like living without limits in our imagination. Um, it's like a miracle of a human.
Live free.
Thanks to imagination that we can solve problems. I'm not saying that knowledge is nothing. No, each one of them, like knowledge and imagination, completes the other one. We cannot deny the importance of the other one. Like with knowledge, by experiences, we can it kind of guides us to facts. But with imagination, we can question problems. We can think about the solutions, and finally find the solutions. Thanks to imagination, that you have more empathy, that you can feel people. You can never understand people if you don't put yourself in their situation or their place. When you do that, you can really understand their point of view, how they think, how they feel. So imagination really makes us understand other people. And more than that, it helps us to get things done, whether in philosophy or science. Like in philosophy, for example, we discuss things, like we describe the ideal and then look into it. We use our imagination, like how the unseen things are done. It's not facts, we cannot see them. Those philosophers symbolize models, and then they use imaginative modification of reality in order to make relationships visible or problems tractable.
We shouldn't limit ourselves to theoretical aspects.
That's why imagination is more important than knowledge. As Einstein says that knowledge is limited, but imagination encircles the world. And thank you.
Close your eyes. To truly grasp the ideal of time, we must take a step back and ask, what is light? So journey with me to the sun. Light travels from the sun to the earth through space, yes? When I was your age, I wanted to know, how can something light travel through nothing, space? Let us isolate a light beam and travel alongside it. And let us go faster. Are you there with me? Faster. Faster. What is time?
Now, how could imagination possibly take your life? Well, that's what could happen in the Middle Ages. In fact, even during the Renaissance time. And that's exactly what happened to Giordano Bruno, the Renaissance man, the humanism who just dared to say imagine and what if. So Bruno basically did not believe that the world is finite or limited in a period of time where the general belief was that the earth is the center of the universe and the sun, moon, and other planets revolve around it. He said that he believes God is infinite, so how could the creation be anything less? He said that there is worlds, universes even, beyond our imagination. He spread his wings and flew out of the box.
I spread confident wings to space and soared toward the infinite, leaving far behind me what others strained to see from a distance. Here, there was no up, no down, no edge, no center. I saw that the sun was just another star, and the stars were other suns, each escorted by other Earths like our own. The revelation of this immensity was like falling in love.
So he was so excited to spread his knowledge throughout Europe, but nobody listened, because he dared to discuss the undiscussable for them, the facts.
Are you mad or merely ignorant? Everyone knows there is only one world.
What everyone knows is wrong.
Our infinite God has created a boundless universe with an infinite number of worlds.
Do they not read Aristotle where you come from? Or even the Bible?
I beg you, reject antiquity, tradition, faith, and authority. Let us begin anew by doubting everything we assume has been proven.
Heretic! Infidel!
Your God is too small!
Although Bruno was so disappointed that his knowledge was banned in his homeland and other countries, his books were forbidden, but he did not give up. He never did. He tried even much more. But the authorities did not like that. They punished him in every possible way.
All of the books you have written will be gathered up and burned in St. Peter's Square.
It may be that you are more afraid to deliver this judgment than I am to hear it.
Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality. Open your eyes, look up to the skies and see.